Hi there, my name is Cassiopeia Guthrie, and today I'm delighted to be able to share with you In the Driver's Seat, Motivate Students with Self-Paced Learning, a session I was inspired by at Q Bold 2021. The presenter of the session was Catherine Goyette. Kat Goyette is an educational technology and integrated studies consultant for the Tulare County Office of Education, as well as a primary writer for California Computer Science Standards. There are additional qualifications that she has, which are shown here. What I really loved about her presentation is that she focused on the combination of UDL and hybrid learning lesson design. She talked about how Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, is a framework to improve and optimize teaching and learning for all people based on scientific insights into how humans learn, and how that very seamlessly builds into the learning that occurs in both the synchronous and asynchronous spaces. As you can see on this slide, she started by plotting out a hybrid learning lesson design and then tying that to UDL, the three principles, providing multiple means of representation, multiple means of engagement, and multiple means of action and expression. She then went a little bit deeper and talked about how she would recommend that this be achieved with rotating cohorts and alternating schedules between in-person synchronous for the set the stage portion, in-person synchronous for the content explore section, at-home asynchronous for collaborate and process, and then at-home asynchronous for synthesize and express. Now, this may seem a little bit nebulous right now, but it was really, really powerful because she continued to delve in a little bit deeper as the presentation went on. So as you can see on this slide, she started off by talking about what setting the stage or engaging might look like and how that's where we activate our curiosity and wonder before moving on to guiding our students in experiencing the content, facilitating collaboration, and then finally providing opportunities to demonstrate learning. Now, this is very similar to what we are used to seeing in instruction, but it was great that she used some very specific methods of how they could be done in a hybrid learning environment, and I really appreciated that. As you can see from this breakdown, there are 4 different sections, and she continued to, again, double down on all of these ideas. It was very, very powerful and very helpful. And this slideshow is going to give you a variety of different resources that you can use immediately inside of your hybrid classes. This is just one example. She talked about how you could use YouTube to set the stage for your instruction before moving into your content, providing an opportunity for students to collaborate asynchronously through a tool like Flipgrid, and then finally giving them a way to synchronize their learning on the back end. One of the things I also really loved about her presentation was how she highlighted the benefits of slides versus docs. Now, while she is in a district that is Google Docs specific, she really kind of shared a lot of the ways that the Google Suite can be used in Google Classroom and so on and so forth. But she specifically articulated how easy it is to embed YouTube videos inside of slides, how easy it is to layer images, that students can annotate, and you can use the gray space around the outside of the slideshow so you can drag and drop activities. And I really loved that about this presentation. She also talked about how you could guide each student with their own copy of a slide deck, Jamboard, or document, and then within that document, you would actually direct them to a manageable collaboration platform. And I really love that because, as she shared, it gives you the opportunity not only to get kids engaged in that collaboration, but also gives them the opportunity to show their own thinking. And by turning that in through Canvas, you would immediately be able to assess their mastery on those topics. Kat Goyette, again from Q Bold 2021. You can access her full slide deck here at bit.ly/2SGR capital H capital K 8. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Strategies for Holding Space for Difficult Conversations Amongst Educators. This was the Q Bold session that I watched, presented by George Valenzuela, and was centered around creating a systemic shift at a school or a district by implementing strategies that help address the social-emotional needs of our students, while by increasing equity in all classrooms. This comes from the collaborative efforts of PLCs and a willingness to talk about things that are uncomfortable. Race. Mr. Valenzuela is an educational coach and an adjunct professor for Old Dominion University. He focuses on teacher preparation for project-based learning, computer science integration, STEM education, and equity and SEL integration. These are links to his profile on his Edutopia and other ways of contacting him should you want any additional resources. I will also be providing a few resources from this session. George began by mentioning that conversations about race are very uncomfortable for the adults in education, but they are necessary in order for the health and success of our students and our society. Teachers have the best of intentions, and no one wants to be labeled biased or racist, or wants to believe that they themselves may have contributed to any of the inequities that might exist in a classroom. So these conversations have to be handled delicately and slowly, and with positive intent. Educational equity is only achieved when every single student receives what they need, and George states that focusing on equity in tandem with SEL strategies helps to remove barriers to student learning and usher in more diversity and equity and inclusion. To begin the process, George says we all need to be socially aware of the emotions of the people in our environment. That means we have to know our students and how they emotionally react to different situations. We also have to know ourselves and know how our own emotions change in different situations, and we have to be aware of our own unconscious and implicit biases. George also said that if we want to begin the focus of increasing equity in the classroom, we really need to know the systemic conditions that led to the inequities and disadvantages and trauma that marginalize students. We need to be deeply informed about the effects of those structures and the trauma they caused. The preceding list are examples of some of the traumas that students can be exposed to, which could contribute to a diminished emotional state. To understand more about emotions and awareness, please visit the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning website. The CASEL framework fosters knowledge and skills and attitudes across 5 areas of competence and helps to establish equitable learning environments. Go ahead and click on the image to access their website and get their resources. As a part of this process, it is important that as teachers we have to know ourselves and understand our own emotional intelligences. We have to understand what emotions we feel at different times. We have to recognize those emotions and acknowledge them. And then we have to take steps to manage them. This is a link that provides a resource that will give you more information to help you do that. Another part of this process is being able to acknowledge and become aware of our own implicit or unconscious biases. Many implicit biases are not meant to harm, but they can have harmful effects, such as lowering your academic expectations for students because they belong to a particular group, or assuming a student needs extra help before the course even begins because they belong to a particular group. The need for adults to come together during this time is critically important. Teachers and their PLCs can establish systemic change school-wide by creating a positive climate, culture, policies, routines, and rituals that benefit all students. George communicated that PLCs can achieve this by establishing learning circles, which are structures that can be used to have difficult conversations with colleagues. They are very delicate conversations to be had, so norms and shared agreements must be established in order to ensure safety of all participants. The following list is an example of some of those possible norms. The following prompts are some examples of reflective questions that can be considered when running a learning circle. The first prompt is meant as a personal reflective exercise with no sharing intended. The second prompt is meant for sharing with one peer, and the third prompt is meant to reflect and consider on your own and then share in a whole group discussion. Within the safety of the norms and shared agreements, these can be rich conversations that can lead to actionable steps for change. If you would like more information on any of the resources that George Valenzuela provided in this session, please feel free to access the web address for the resources listed. I'd like to thank you for watching this segment on strategies for holding space for difficult conversations amongst educators, and would like to invite you to visit our EUHSD EdTech support website at bit.ly/EUHSD EdTech support, where you can find links to this video and resources from them. You could also go to bit.ly/DIF EDU to get a copy of this slide deck, which has all the hyperlinks to the resources from George Valenzuela. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for joining me and for your interest in educational technology. I'm Damon Blackman, Director of Educational Technology for the school district, and I am sharing a key takeaway that I learned at the Q Bold Symposium. Bold stands for the Blended and Online Lesson Design Symposium, and I went along with EdTechTosa's from our district this last spring. And the session that I'd like to highlight with you is this one called Bold Smart Start, specifically around protocols. Um, if you're interested in getting a copy of this slide deck, please visit bit.ly/EUHSD Edu Protocols. And I'd like to showcase what John Caripo, the presenter, has his claims. His claims are if teachers were to smart start their school year, meaning during the first 3 days to a week, if you work strategically on building culture, capacity, um, work on building that during the first 3 to 5 days, it's going to pay dividends for the rest of the school year. As he says, think about Marzano's skills and Bloom's. And so his edu protocols, there are 16 of them, are rooted in research. Think visible learning from Hattie, think about Marzano, classroom instruction that works, and of course, also Bloom. What he claims is culture is everything. And if you start your class by optimizing the class culture and bonding, making sure that students feel comfortable trying new things, I think we can agree that when the students come back to us in the fall after the year that we've had, coming back to in-person learning, return to normal, if you will, that doing this is going to pay tremendous benefits. What Caripo says is if you focus on culture, and he defines culture here to be create safety in the class, unite with others, laugh and have fun, think critically, up-tempo the pace, and establish structure. You're going to get kids moving around. You're going to get them getting to know one another. You're going to build team, and as he says, de-stratify the class. And he has this kind of like crosswalk of different edu protocols. And if you look at this, you'll see Frayer, yes, Frayer model. You'll see other activities like summarizing and note taking. So if you go to his website, eduprotocols.com, and you click on alignments, you get to this page. Yes, it's aligned. These strategies are aligned to Common Core standards, but I'd like to, for us at the high school level, also have us consider how might they be aligned to Teaching for Deeper Learning from McTighe and Silver. So when you click on this, you'll find that there's a crosswalk between the 16 different edu protocols and which ones appear in which of these different categories of deeper learning. If any of these interest you and you would like to learn more, please visit the Edu Protocols website or reach out to me, Damon Blackman. You can find me on Teams. You can reach me via email in the district, or of course, you can find me on Twitter at EUHSD EdTech. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Johnson, one of the district's EdTech TOSAs. I want to take this opportunity to share a quick, meaningful, and purposeful takeaway from the Q Bold conference that I believe will enhance any lesson across all content areas should you choose to try it out. It's called Hyperslides, the perfect package. Let's check it out. Before we jump in, I'd like to acknowledge and give credit to Megan, Can, and Johan, who presented this fabulous EdTech innovation at Q Bold. Megan has been an educator for 16 years, facilitating and encouraging collaboration with educators, leveraging emerging tech with good pedagogy in the classroom. I'll share her original slide deck along with mine with you at the end of this presentation. Thank you, Megan and Q Bold, for providing this valuable resource. So what is hyperslides? It's like a hyperdoc, but way better. If you're not familiar what a hyperdoc is yet, hyperdocs are a digital document where all learning is housed into one central hub. All links to resources needed to complete that learning cycle with explicit instructions for each step. Slides are a visual augmentation of a text doc or page with easy to follow directional flow and pace for asynchronous and synchronous learning. Visuals are a big part why hyperslides are worth a test drive. Our brains crave visuals as we retain and engage 80% of what we see and do with content. What is a hyperslide? Hyperslides are transformative, interactive, personalized, and engaging, and a tool to help facilitate student creativity, collaboration. They do all of this and so much more. Not only can teachers create an editable, storage-friendly, mass-producing work of art, but students can too, while bolstering student agency in their learning. So a deep dive into hyperslides revealed that they are in fact student-paced design vessels for learning that deliver content to students in an interactive and visual way. They make what was impossible in traditional settings possible with embedded videos, linked audio, drag and drop interaction, and digital links. Students can even reflect on their metacognition and student choice. Those of you who are already acquainted with Roger Beavy's 5E model of instruction, fantastic. If this is the first time you've heard of this, teachers use 5E model of instruction to sequence lessons and activities, which provide best first instruction for all students. Through this process, they emphasize opportunities to personalize learning. The 5 stages include engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Use them however they work best for your lesson. And if you're like me, I like to know which tools that are out there to fit the learning model. But look no further. Some ideas and tools for the 5E model can include video for engagement, infographics for exploring, Padlet to explain student learning, create a Canvas slide like this one to elaborate on learning, and video with Flipgrid to evaluate and provide timely, purposeful feedback to your student or peer-to-peer feedback. I know what you're going to say. Why do I need hyperslides to create a lesson using a 5E model of instruction? Well, with hyperslides, you're creating your very own learning experience. You can use GIFs to grab their attention, embed video right in your lesson versus leaving to visit YouTube. Who doesn't like icons or emojis? I know I do. You can add audio so students can hear your voice or even add their own. All this and personalizing hyperslides with you with Bitmoji or a quick GIF or meme of your own. So if you made it this far, congratulations. So here are some resources for you. This presentation was recorded and created using Canva and a free and teacher license friendly online platform for all your creative projects. But for fonts, tons are out there, but here are just a few. For icons and PNGs, also included in Canva, by the way, check out Flat Icon or Stick PNG. And for royalty-free, copyright-friendly images, check out Unsplash and Pixabay.
To get more information on all of the resources referenced in each of these segments, or to watch this video back again, please come visit us at our EUHSD EdTech Support website on the Workshops and Professional Learning page. We would like to thank you for watching the Best of QBold presented to you by the EUHSD EdTech team. Have a great day.